My friends, hello and welcome to GoldenEye SpeedLore, the series where we explore the incredible stories of speedrunners who have long grinded for new records in the video game GoldenEye 007, and learn about their trials, tribulations, and quests through the lens of the world record progression. And tonight we are entering what is, to some, the most feared of all GoldenEye stages. Not one where you're bound to frequently pass away, or one which is particularly boring to play, but one where you are simply at the mercy of the game's randomness and the luck of the universe around you. Indeed, this is the story of Frigate Agent. Frigate Agent, and if we know the stage, it's probably the smallest stage in terms of map in the entire game. Maybe Bunker 1 is smaller, but Frigate is one of the smaller maps. And on Agent, you have to rescue 2 hostages, and you have to plant a tracking bug on a helicopter. That's it. On Secret and 00, you have to rescue 4 and 5 hostages. And not only do they have to be rescued, released, they have to make it to one of 6 despawn points on the boat. This is something that will become much talked about tonight. So with that in mind, let's watch this first run we have here. Our example run tonight is actually by an individual called Jera White. I've actually never heard of Jera before tonight, but thanks for submitting this 56-second run. And you can see it's a short level. If the beginner run is 56 seconds, you know things are going to be short. In at least the world record is going to be, less than a minute tonight. And so Jera comes up here and opens the door and attempts to shoot this guard out. Shooting him many times is actually bad here because it alerts guards. And these guards can get in the way of these hostages. And, if he waited even a few more seconds there, that hostage taker would have shot the hostage and passed away. And that would have been devastating because he would have had to found another hostage. You had to go deeper into the level and find another one. Very wacky bug throw. The helicopter's down that way. But it did complete. And now you're hoping that... Oh, guards pulling a nade. You're hoping that the hostages are going to find their escape points. There's 1 and there's 2. Objective A completed. And now you can escape back in the boat. It's like the only level where the end is precisely where you started. Statue's close, but on this one it's like exactly where you started is the end. And we see a time of 56 seconds here. Yeah, you can't re-enter the boat and despawn the mission until after you've gone all the way up the boat ramp, and then you can come back down. So that's pretty cool. Nice job, Jera. Way to go. Thank you for submitting that time. This is our Madman Fletcher. His first submit time was actually 43 seconds, so 13 seconds better, and we're going to examine this one as well. It is interesting, Ladner, that this is the only level with the Phantom in it naturally, a very powerful weapon. It does, 2 bars of damage on 00 Agent. A lot of damage. Only the RC-P90 and Laser does that much. I think that's right. Might be 1.5? Might be 1.5, actually. It does a lot of damage. So we see Fletcher releasing these hostages, and he's going to go for the bug throw. Yeah, shotguns do 2 bars as well. And look, so he throws the tracker bug from that far away, and it lands on the helicopter. I remember, back in the day, in high school, people were always impressed by that bug throw. Oh, ha ha ha, you threw it from so far away, that's crazy. And indeed, it will become standard fare for tonight's episode. We'll see every run will throw that bug. And so this is basically Frigate Agent in a nutshell. Run up the ramp, release 2 hostages, throw the bug on the helicopter, run back to the boat, and hope they've escaped by the time you get back there. You can see even here, Fletcher waits for a few seconds. And so if the hostage is already completed, he could have just ran right in. That was about 4 or 5 seconds. So this could have been a 38 if they escaped right away. And What causes them to escape right away is so luck-based on which of the 6 escape locations they pick. Obviously, the closer the better. If they pick the furthest away, they won't be able to get back there in a minute. It'll take them much more. It'll take them much more than that, you know. And we'll see that tonight for sure. And it also depends on where the guards are. Did you lure guards to their shots? Did the guards get in the way of the hostages? Where are you looking? Are you loading or unloading the hostages? And it's so dynamic and complex that there's not much you can do to affect it. There's only so much you can do, I should say. And it becomes kind of the bane of a lot of people's existence. So, very early world records on this stage. Someone was able to dig up this amazing site that says GoldenEye world rankings based on the times on this page. And there's actually an interesting message up here. It says, "Warning to cheaters, you do get caught," which is kind of funny and kind of a foreshadowing on tonight's episode. This is we're in like November 01. And this is like not the Elite website. This is another site. And if we scroll down to Frigate, we'll see on Agent, we'll see 31 by Jortes, 32 by Patrick Laxo, 32 by Neblet, you know, and then a bunch of other very old names at this time. You know, we don't even see Wouter Jansen yet. So pretty crazy to see such an ancient stage. Here we have a 29 submitted by Patrick Laxo. We don't have the video, no video there. Understandably, you know, we're going back in time, and no video around. And yet it was kind of hard to know exactly who had the first world record on this stage, but we can only account the history that we know. And yeah, we see Sterling in here. Yachtaraj, he was one of these OG guys, and he was there to see exactly what was the early records and all that crazy stuff. Yeah, that 32, we think Sterling might have had it as well, and a few other people might have had it. Eventually, Laxo got 29. Sterling would eventually claim, 33, 32, and down to 26. And believe it or not, 26 is the first available video for this lore. 26 seconds. Sterling got 26 in March 01. And we see a video by Wouter tying 26 in April 2001. So let's take a look. There he shoots the hostage takers. That's what we call him, the taker. He gets with the tracking bug, runs over, chucks the tracking bug, back strafes. He's in right strafe. Objective B completed. Hostage escaped, and he's in the boat, and it completes. So you didn't see the second Objective A, completed, hostages escaped. But it came up in the fade out of the level. So in the last 1 second, as the level's fading out, that's when the second hostage escaped, and so it completed the mission. And yeah, I kind of thought this might say 26, but it's claimed to 25, and who am I to argue? So another 26 was set in 2001 August by the webmaster of the Elite rankings, Derek Clark. And we actually have some decent video quality here. Well, I'm sure you could sheave it if you had old equipment that was working. Yeah, so the Clark video is really good. He has some videos that have degraded hilariously due to bit rot and stuff like that. But this video actually looks decent for the era. And that's a 26. Yeah, that Wouter one was a 26 as well. Here's another 26. Randy Buikima. We know he kind of came back around and did a lot. I think this is the only time we'll see him on this level, though. This 26 as well. And yeah, so you guys can clearly see there's a very set strategy, which is run in, shoot the 2 hostage takers, pause for the bug. You have to pause for the bug. You can't select it any other way. Chuck it onto the chopper and hope it completes, and hope that the hostages escape. And so, you know, we can get into the odds of the hostages completing, and we can see Objective A was up early there. That's cool. That's apparently 26 as well. Yeah, so we can see, like, okay, on Randy's run, the hostage Objective A completed there. That's a good 2 seconds before the end of the run. So it's like, does this mean that the hostages could complete in 23 seconds? Does this mean that 23 on Frigate is possible? And we'll examine that quite soon. We can see it even looks like he kind of delays throwing the bug. Imagine he just unpaused and immediately threw it. He might have been able to save a second, and might have been able to get 24 on this run. Okay, yeah, it's a 26, so 2 seconds faster would have been a 24. And I think we're certainly showing that this is out there. 24 is probably out there, but 25 would have to happen first. And so the first 25 would happen by this notable gamer, Eddie Lovins. On September 15th, 2001, Lovins would get this run. And this is actually looking really, really good. The quality here is really solid. He runs in there, shoots there, opens the door, tracker bug, chucks the bug, completed. And let's see when A completes here. Oh, wow. So, again, a completion in the fade. Completion in the fade. Frigate Agent, 25 seconds. That's really nice, right? That, I would say, is really quite nice. A very good run. Yeah, and it's... this record was well remembered by a lot of guys who were around at the time. Because obviously, you know, I mentioned the date, September 15th, 2001. You know, this was the first record after, you know, some terrible events a few days before. And so a lot of eliters who took to the forums to talk about this kind of thing with their fellow gamers, because, you know, it's one of those things at the time, who am I going to talk about this with? And there are threads on the forums from that day, which is kind of quite fascinating to go back and look. But a lot of guys remember this as the first Untied in the wake of that, and kind of, okay, bringing back a sense of normalcy to, you know, let's, we can still game and our lives go on, you know. So always an interesting time to look back, especially as these lores touch on these kind of historical events in our history, which is very, very interesting. So amazing job by Eddie Lovins on this 25. I wonder if that was his only Untied. I'm going to take a quick look here. Lovins came back in like 2010, 2009, even earlier, I think. And he got some great statue times. 0607 is when he got the statue times. Would have touched on that in the statue lore. But yeah, this was his only Untied. So very cool stuff from Lovins. Way to go on Frigate 25. Okay. Now we're going to look at a bunch of, like, theory threads. This one says latest minimums, which I presume is, like, talking about people guessing the maxed times in GoldenEye. And it's funny because Lovins made the thread. And we see times like Dan 53, 119, 202. We know this is all long beaten, but 20 years ago, you know, this was, you know, what exactly were you going to guess as a theoretical best time on the level? He even knows 24 frigates possible, and he knows that would beat his time. So, yeah, it's kind of funny, because this is before look down as well, right? Control, 4 minutes, 423. You know, we know the records now are, you know, 355, 402, 403. So, always, and even, you know, Aztec 220 compared to the world record now 135. So always a funny time. But interestingly, Wouter makes a post here saying that he actually believes in Frigate 23. Frigate 23. And he says, I have had such fast hostages that I'm sure this is possible. So he's had runs that he believes could be 23 speed. No, it is very true, Hobo X. It is crazy, and to see such old comments on Twitter, it really makes you think. Wouter made a thread here saying that he had failed a 23 on Frigate Agent. He completed B, the bug throw, but those damn hostages just never escape. He has many failed 24s and 25s, and so if he's seen hostages that can get 23 speed, and he's failed the 23 hostages, if those two runs come together and he gets a bug completion and a hostage completion on the same 23 pace run, he could maybe get 23. And so this in a way became kind of his personal quest, one of his white whales, you could say. So very fascinating to see Wouter really so intrigued by Frigate 23 all the way back then. We'll have a couple more 25s to show here. This is Mathice 10 Hom. He always had decent video quality, which is nice. Running in there, he kind of shot that guard late, which is interesting. At 25 pace, not every motion has that much of importance, so these little alterations aren't a huge deal. I noticed most of these guys are turning right strafe after the bug throw. You have to look towards the helicopter as the bug is landing, otherwise you unload the helicopter and it fails. So that's why they kind of back strafe there. But a very nice run. Frigate 25 by Mathice 10 Hom. And we have this 25 by Isa Smith as well. Let's see Isa's run here. And these were all done in, early 2002. I mean, both Isa and Mathice were April 02, so almost exactly 19 years ago. Whereas the Lovins was September 01, so that's roughly the scale, the time frame of Frigate 25 as a record. That's always cool because a grenade went off. So you can really hear stuff exploding in the end cutscene, which is kind of funny. There's one hostage escaped, and the other one escaped in the fade. Then the cinema comes up. Bingo, bango, Frigate 25. Very nicely done. Now, in July 2002, Wouter would get Frigate 24. It's very fascinating and noteworthy, though, that there was no video this time. I actually didn't remember this, because when I joined the community in 2005, 24 was the record. And I don't remember Wouter not having a video. I have no recollection of it. But all the research and diving that we've done in the past few weeks leading up to this SpeedLore, there was never a video 24, and there's a lot of supporting evidence of this, in fact. So, if we look on this site, which is called GoldenEye Movies, it lists all of the videos that existed in GoldenEye. I mean, nowadays you couldn't make this list. There'd be tens of thousands of videos of people playing, all the stages on Agent. I probably have 50 videos of Streets runs, for example, right? So, but think about this. This isn't just like a rankings. This is a list of every video ever made at the time. We're in June 2002. We see that, the guys who I've shown have 25-second runs. Wouter has a 23 fail video that exists. And I do have it a little bit later on. 23 fail. So, yeah, very fascinating that the 24 video never existed, even though I personally thought it did. I was surprised to learn this, but this is evidence that suggests it didn't exist. Now, in September 02, Wouter says that he has proof for every single level. Here's a list. And if we go into Frigate, See, it's like not quite proof, because he's claimed the 24 now. He has four failed 23 videos, a 24 with failed B, which is the bug, and a 25. So it's like he doesn't have a video of his Frigate Agent 24 completed. He doesn't have that video. I remember one video that he definitely didn't have proven was Runway 00. That was like his one unproven time. So yeah, it's just crazy to how it sticks out, you know. This thread says, "What? I love Wouter." This is Derek Clark, the site owner and webmaster, saying, you know, please post your new records in the world record topic. This is when the site would be updated manually. And so he's like, Wouter, please post them in the record topic so I can access them and upload them manually and keep the site accurate. And then Wouter kind of goes in this rant talking about how he plays too much Frigate. He's trying to tape a 24 just to proof it. Right? So we see all this evidence that Wouter didn't have a proven 24 at any point, which is really remarkable. So here's one of his 24 failed Bs. So this helps build the case that he was capable of 24, of course. I mean, everyone knew that, but this builds that proof further. So he's shot the two guards there. I mean, when you're doing attempts you miss, you restart all the time. So that was a very smooth bug throw, but he failed it. He failed it, and hostage escaped. The second escapes in the fade. See, rescue hostages completed. Plant tracking bug failed. 24 seconds. And it is worth noting that it says best time 24. Yeah, anyone could game shark that, use cheats, and get that time on your file. That's one way to do it. But the other way to get the time on your file is to just complete the time. So this is really a lot of strong evidence that he did get that 24, like he claimed. So that's a pretty nice run. Frigate 24 failed B. Alas, there was still no video. You know, I actually disagree, JD Black. I think it's fine to play out the failed bug throws because it's, you know, practice is practice. That's all it comes down to. Practice is practice. And at the end of the day, whether you played out or not doesn't affect your next run, you know? Your next run's all that matters. So the community would go without a 24 video for a little while. Until, of course, December 2003. When who would show up in December 2003? None other than big boss man Brian Boussard. He would show up, and despite the luck-based run, you know, the hostages needing to pick the 1 in 6 best spawn, best despawn location, and guards not getting their way, boss said, you know what, I'm going to play it, I'm going to go for 24, and indeed, he did. And so on the date of December 21st, 2003, he went out and got this run, a run so remarkable, we're going to dedicate to our SpeedLore champion, Dr. Slochter. Thank you, Dr. Slochter, for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look at this run. This one was definitely captured by Jimbo. I can tell by the color saturation. It has a distinct Jimbo look to it. And he only had dial-up internet until about 2010. So this video, which was, a staggering probably 8 or 12 megabytes, had to be uploaded by dial-up to the community. Boom. Beautiful. Gets it. Just a very well played run. Gets in there. And it's a Frigate Agent 24. Beautiful run by Boss. Way to go. And ties the Wouter world record, which is pretty cool. You know what? I'm going to dig up what the rankings looked like at the end of 03 in terms of a Boss Wouter, especially on Frigate. I think it'll be kind of interesting. So, here we go. December 29th, 03. Let's pull this in here. We can see on Frigate it is, so Boss has basically tied all these Wouter times. And in the previous SpeedLores, we would have talked about these at length. Amazing records, and this is like the complete split period where it's such a rivalry between Boss and Wouter going on. Boss has some untied sweeps, Wouter has some untied sweeps. Looks like they both have 2 untied sweeps. Boss has Statue and Control, and Wouter has Train and Aztec. Pretty amazing. Now, throughout 03 into 04, nothing would change on Frigate Agent. It would just stay Wouter Boss. Would anyone come along and challenge for 24? Well, Bass Boost, Alex Anderson, would come along and play Frigate. Frigate was one of his favorite stages at the time. He wouldn't get a 24 on this run, but it is a commentary run. 2.5 minutes. I'm just going to play it, and let's enjoy what he has to say. This would have been maybe late 04, maybe early 05. Alex Anderson.
Okay, Bass Boost here, doing commentary for my Frigate 25. I started off playing a round of Aztec. I was working for my 140, but it doesn't work out so well. I never have much luck at this level. Had a decent start here. I don't think I got past the glass on this run. Do a safer strategy there, killing all the guards. Missed him, doesn't matter. So these 3 guards hit me twice. Nothing good going on here. That guy lived. That guy lived. Kept going for some unknown reason. Still probably PR with this. 151, this is terrible. I don't think the glass opens here at all. No. So I've had enough at this level. Decided to go play some Frigate Agent here. And on my first run, I get 25 right here. Okay, here we go. Pretty good stairs. A little stuck there. Did great there. Opened the door early. Shot the guy, killed him quickly. Didn't get stuck there. Quick hostages. Check out this bug throw here. So sweet. Complete. No stuckage at all. Hostage escaped. Go on the boat. Cinema comes up. So happy. Just waiting around. 25. So nice, so beautiful. 10 shots, 3 kills. Seems to be the normal around here for completions. So that run just owned bad. So happy with it. Really nice. Not much else to say besides you just owned. Good second, Pascal.
It is interesting how he points out that there's shot total 10, pass away total 3. That is interesting because I remembered that was like one of the kind of most notable things on Frigate at the time. You know, we didn't have that good of an understanding of how it worked, but it was kind of known that like, oh, how many shots you fire can lure more guards who can get in the way of the hostages trying to escape, right? It's like when you're over here shooting out this guard, this like the hostage has got to run through this door that you're now looking through, and if you shoot too many times, guards will come rushing through and they'll hopelessly stuck the hostage. So yeah, quite an insightful run actually from Alex there in 25. He was very happy with the bug throw, which was good. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, oh, is there, like, where's the room for 24 if not 23? And we already know that, you know, 24 is done. But I mean, this is a pretty clean run, you know, pretty clean run. 25. Now, Alex would keep playing. You know, I've spoken many times before about Alex's music taste, especially back then. His influence on me with the music taste. I mean, he really is the guy who introduced me to electronic dance music, you know, gamer tunes. Really, what it comes down to, you know, the nightcore and the insane fast techno and Eurobeat and so on. This video has probably what I would make the outrageous claim to say this is the biggest banger ever in a GoldenEye video. Prepare yourselves. This bangs. I couldn't believe it, and I actually checked it on YouTube. It doesn't look like it triggers copyright, so everyone should be able to enjoy this. It's unbelievable. This run was done January 24th, 2005. Let's just take a look. Frigate Agent 24 by Bass Boost, Alex Anderson. Amazing run, insane run. You know, I found the video. I was like, what song is this? You would expect a Crazy Train remix to trigger copyright, you know. And I found the version of it. It was made in 2008. It was uploaded. That's insane. Uploaded to YouTube in 2008. I kind of wonder if like some random person made this, you know, remix. That's kind of what I wonder, and maybe it is the case. So, it's true, Sammy. I mean, especially in this lore, we're starting out strong because the next couple runs are very noteworthy and interesting as well. Yeah, unbelievable. Alex says was super happy with this one achieved. 3rd% of the world record. No 25 dupes. And he briefly thought about 23, but eventually decided, I'm just going to leave it at that. 24 is cool. And so we can see after this, now we have Alex has been added to the mix on Frigate. Not only on Agent, but on 00 Agent as well. So Alex is starting to get in there and show his name as an up-and-coming gamer in the scene. Unfortunately, believe it or not, that is the last we'll see of him this episode. Yeah, he would. So what's interesting is he would have been using Control Style 1.1 at the time, and Welder would have used 1.1 at that time as well. So only Boss used the better Control Style 1.2. With the C buttons to move, you lose less time when on corners and stuff. But it is worth note that Frigate, because it's a luck-based level, it's not a level where you have to eke out every frame of time save. It's a level where you have to consistently fail 24 speed runs. We know 23 is possible, so 24 is not perfect. And you have to just do it consistently until the hostage is complete. So that might have something to do with it, why 1.1 was fine on Frigate at that time. You know? Okay, so now we have some interesting stuff that was dug up. Through 2005, you know, in many lores, in 2005, we talked about Welder's Last on Tides, Streets Agent 113, the Depot 43 and 50. This is like Welder's, you know, real last, not quite as the last hurrah. That was a little bit later, but like, you know, it's getting there. This is like Welder's last. I mean, the last time people get on Tides, certainly. I would argue that the absolute precipice of the Untides Welder got in 05, the one that he wanted more than any was Frigate 23. We can see here that this video is called Frigate 23 Failed 8 in a row. So we can see that grinded for it. On that run, no hostages escaped. Failed hostages, 23 fail. And this is a typical Frigate session, which is why it's a really good thing to show. If you or anyone else is playing Frigate, this is what it's going to look like. You start a run, you go up here, you open the door, shoot the guard, 2 or 3 shots, open the door, tracker bug, chuck the bug, really nice bug chuck, completed. He's in left strafe. Hostages, no hostages escaped. 23 fail. These are so... even Ilu, who's an all-time great, is in chat talking about how good these runs look. And this is 2005. And so even though we know now Welder really hasn't continued to set records in the game, there's no doubt that he was an absolutely all-time amazing player. Like, there's absolutely no doubt. And you can see it in this session. This one obviously got a bit messed up. He didn't pass away the first guard that he encounters. Things got a bit messy. The bug throw failed, but it was a 23 fail, and that's what's important. You got to play it out so consistently, run after run after run, and you have to hope you get the lucky run. And we know the odds are, there's 6 escape points. We know you want them to both pick the best one. 1 in 6, 1 in 6. That's 1 in 36. I think the odds are even a little bit worse than 1 in 6. I think they add up to like 1 in 41, technically, plus all of the random factors that go into it, like the guards being in the way and looking the wrong direction and stuff. So, we could easily say that the odds of getting a completion of Frigate Agent are 1 in 50, 1 in 80, 1 in 100, maybe even a little bit worse. And so just run after run after run, going for that time, going for that world record until you're blessed with a lucky run. That bug throw actually looked a bit like it might fail, but it completed. And any hostages? There's 1. So at that point, it's like your heart rate might like spike because you're like, oh, 1 escaped. Or is the second one going to escape in the fade? And it doesn't happen. Here's another very notable run. Now, from my memory, Welder actually had 4 of these. It's true, Ilu, and that wouldn't have been something considered at the time. But it will be, in the future, I suppose. Chucks, that looked like a good bug throw, but it failed. It failed. The bug throw failed. Hostage escaped. And look at that. Rescue hostages completed. The hostages escape completed. It was the 1 in 100 run or so. But he failed the bug. And I remember him writing that he had 4 of these, but again, our memories have been off, it seems, in the history of Frigate. That's what I remember, though, that he had 4 runs that were 23, hostages completed, failed bug, and he had hundreds that were the opposite, and they just never matched together. They just never meshed. At some point in here, actually, he made a post in the world record topic, August 05, which is Frigate Agent 24. I wonder if that's because he finally got one on tape at that point. If so, that video never got uploaded as far as we know. So, yeah, crazy stuff. Now, a historic date in the community would be September 24th, 2005. Welder would make a forum thread, and this is going to be the subtitle of this episode because it's so historic. The forum thread was simply called Beautiful Girl Inside. Now, if you're old enough to remember the internet back in 2005, this is like the original clickbait. And nowadays, it's a bit different. Someone might have a beautiful person thumbnail of their YouTube video, and you click on it, and maybe they're not featured all that often in the video. Maybe only a 1-second appearance. You kind of got clickbaited. But back in 05 and earlier, saying, oh, beautiful girl in this thread, come click. Like, this is a way to get guaranteed clicks. And the thing with clickbait is, if it has a payoff and it's worth it, if the content is good, you don't care that you got baited, right? No one, and especially in the context of a web forum with a bunch of gamer dudes back then, no one cared about getting a bit trolled by a thread, right? You know, no one cared. Wouter made a thread called Beautiful Girl Inside, and in it he writes, Frigate Agent, lesser than 3. Oh, heart, like a heart. Read the lesser than symbol as a 2. Basically saying he got Frigate 23. And let's just read the posts. Congrats, Wouter. Excellent job, Wouter. Your determination rules. Congrats. OMFG, amazing job. Great job now posting the world record topic. Can you describe your reactions? Here's a Lou. Ownage. Inspiring. So nice and cool. Run was smooth as silk. Nice bug throw. I was so surprised at the right strafe to the boat at the end. I seem to be using left strafe lately. Insane job. Really amazing job, Wouter. Get more on tides. Insane. Congrats. There's Boss. Insane Wouter on tides. Does the deed with Wouter. What did you expect? A handshake? Yep. Almost as beautiful, almost as good as a beautiful girl. Yep. Luke Scalars. 05. Wouter's the best GoldenEye player in the world, period. Just wow. Mr. Sue Reams is hoping Wouter gets back to number 1. We know it wouldn't happen. Good job. Amazing time. Glad you finally achieved it. Shadow Zero would always do Din More jokes, which are your mom in Swedish. Almost as beautiful as Din More. Good job. Congrats. Thanks, everyone. 22 is possible. And Wouter says, I once claimed I failed 22, but I don't remember doing it. So that's kind of interesting that even in this situation, talk of the 22 is coming up. And we see here, Wish I Was Famous says, this calls for another update. No. At the time, the website wasn't updated automatically. It was like manually, it wasn't completely manual. Everyone had a times page hosted on GeoCities. I know everyone hates when I say that. GeoCities. And you would manually update your times, and then someone would run the server to check all the times pages and put it up on the main rankings. And this would go through twice a week. It was something like a Tuesdays and Saturdays. But this run was so amazing that they just forced an update immediately to get the 23 in the rankings, because it was so legendary and so insane. And now let's watch the run. They kind of relived it as if you were in 05, reading this thread going, what's going on? And then you read all everyone's post, and then you find your way to the video, and this is what we saw. Right strafe there. I mean, that strafing is so nice. Escaped and in. Cutscene comes up. Frigate Agent 23. Unbelievable, to be honest. I really can't overstate the historical significance of this time. It's truly beautiful and remarkable. I'll even say this much. We're in 05. A lot more has to happen next 16 years. To this date, including Wouter, only 28 people have achieved 23 on the stage. I mean, that really shows you how good this time was, and it really makes you think about Wouter. And, gaming is one of those things. A lot of people say, oh, there's no age limit. You can still play great when you're older. And it might be true, but for some people, it isn't true. Some people As you age, you're just not there anymore in the gaming world, and that's the case for Wouter. But it shows you how good he was. Truly amazing, truly beautiful. Frigate Agent 23 on the rankings, as we see right there in the middle of the page. That 23, unbelievable. We can see, again, Wouter's Untieds in 05. Bunker 1 came a couple years earlier, was still untied. But, you know, Streets 113, the Depot times. Train 107 was from earlier. These 3 times down here were from, you know, the year 2 before. But eventually we know it. We get to a point where, you know, all these would turn to dust in due time. But at this moment, you know, Boss is clearly the champion, and but Wouter's still holding strong there. And in fact, if we skip now to 2 years later, April 07, it's actually kind of interesting because we can see Wouter's 23 still untied. And now, you know, it's the old lore, you know, classic. Illu's on the scene with untieds. I'm on the scene with untieds. Silo, untied sweep. Anderson, Alex Anderson's there. Ace has got some untieds going on. Untied sweep on Train. Boss is still going strong. Illu's got an untied sweep. Even Gwig Alberto's getting records, you know. Everyone's on the scene, and yet Wouter's 23 is still untied. Really remarkable. Who would be the first one to tie it? Well, before anyone tied it, I'm just going to show, you know, my copycat version of Illu's logo that I made in Microsoft Paint in 06, and what the best I could do. I got 24. I was the first person at 24 as not a world record. So that's kind of fun and funny. I had some old techno song in this video, but when Axel Z uploaded it to YouTube, it was overdubbed with The Entertainer, which is now copyrighted. So I can't play the audio on this. It's not, you know, that important, but I always love dedicating my own runs to a SpeedLore champion, and this one goes out to our pal Languid Tide. A big thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Enjoy this run from, this was almost up, this was 2006, and the first 24 without, as a non-world record. I bust in there, shoot the guard, open the door. See, that was actually a good idea that I had there. That was kind of something that we haven't seen done. I paused a little bit away from the door and got boosted towards it, which actually would save a little bit of time. Run down, bingo, bango, and we are in this, in the boat. Things are good. We're in the boat. Life's good. And we've completed Frigate Agent 24. Very nice run. 7 shots, 3 passaways. Actually, I should mention that on Wouter's run, you know, I did talk about on Alex's, but it was discussed how he had 8 shots, 3 kills. And so, between 6 and 8 shots is considered ideal. And I have 7, that's pretty good. Yeah, I had no dot on screen, not even close. I've never used a dot. It gives me headaches because it sits on the glass screen, which is a little bit in front of the actual display of the screen. I've never used a dot in my life, and I think there's not very many people like that in the community. But yeah, you do notice it because it's a CRT capture. You're right. So I thank you for pointing that out. It does make it harder, but you know, you play. You're a gamer. It's what you do. You know, you go for personal bests and world records. There's my 24, and I'm always happy with that record. And you know what? Believe it or not, that is still my personal best on the stage. Which, you know, we'll see what happens in a little bit, but okay. So who would be the first to tie 23? Well, it's a bit, I don't want to say controversial, but this is the run of Perfect Ace. This was achieved on July 4th, 2007. This run is dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Philip P. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon, Philip. And let's take a look at Perfect Ace in July 07. So he shot 8 times. That's good. I think beyond 8, and you run the risk of luring a guard to get in the way of the hostages. Tracker book successfully placed. Hostage escaped. Ace would have been 12. Ace would have been 12, and he tied 23. Okay. Beautiful run. Ace went to the world record topic and posted this. Frigate Agent 23, 4th of July. Boss immediately quotes the post and says, I also got Frigate Agent 23 on June 2nd, a month before you did. Boss had been hoarding his 23. I imagine it was because he was close to sending out VHS tapes to get them captured. And the records he got, like, leading up to it, he was like, you know what, I'll hoard them until they're captured, and then I'll release them with a video. So it wasn't like out of malice. We do talk about this actually a lot in the very first SpeedLore episode, Frigate Secret Agent, because Boss was also hoarding the video. The video had not been released for Secret Agent 103. And it would have gone out in the same set of tapes, I believe. So it actually might have been a different set of tapes, but you know, either way, the time was hoarded. And once Ace revealed the time, Boss decided, I'm going to post mine. And this was the video. And this is a remarkable and historic run. And it's going to go out to our SpeedLore champion, FC Bojangles. Thank you, FC, for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look. It's true, you wonder if Boss invented hoarding. I mean, you know, Welder, I think, hoarded before Boss even. Even in one of those early posts, Clark kind of referenced Welder, like, oh, you're almost hoarding based on, like, the way you post your times, kind of. And... ooh. Oh, interesting, JD. Okay, that, you know what, that actually makes a lot of sense. So Boss has always been very, you know, in tune with the emotions and frankly respect of other gamers in the community, other speedrunners. And so yeah, for Welder it was this epic 150-hour quest, and Boss said he got it, caked it in like a couple hours. Which, like, you can understand how it happens. You understand how it happens, right? The odds of the hostages are 1 in 41. And, you know, we saw Welder fail 8 runs in a row. It takes about a minute to play out a run. And so if you really know what you're doing, you're really consistent, you play for an hour, you could get 60 23 fails. You know? You could certainly get 30 or 40. And, after a couple hours, it's not unreasonable to think you would get the lucky run. If you're, you know, he only shot 7 times. That's a really good number. So, Boss was doing things right and it ended up paying off for him. Frigate Agent 23. Yep. Very, very nice run from Boss. He got that world record and he, you know, beat Ace to the time. Oh yeah, and 23 is the objective A completed comes up on screen. This is the first. There it is. So it's right there. So there is an additional 1 second of fade on the boat. So because it came up before the boat, this does imply maybe hostages escaping in 22 seconds is possible. Maybe. So that's very significant as well. Now in this case, yeah, so to answer your question, Sean, you do have to watch the bug land to keep the helicopter loaded. If you look away, the helicopter unloads, the bug falls into the nether, and it does not complete. So great stuff by Boss here. And now the record is a 3-way tie between Boss, Ace, and Welder. Now we get to a point of great shame in the episode, which we do touch on in many other episodes. So it's late 2007. I'm very angsty. I really, to be honest, I was not happy with my life at all at this point in time. And I felt that the game was the reason for it. I felt that speedrunning was the reason for it. I was obviously very sucked into this community. Everyday posting, talking with the guys. And I blamed my failings and our points of life on the community, spending too much time gaming. I didn't have the willpower to stop. I was also feeling bad about being beaten to times by guys like Ace and Boss. I was also feeling that the proof standards were too lax. People were allowing to claim times with no videos, or taking months or years to prove their videos. And I snapped. I was an immature 18-year-old, and I snapped. And this run is one of about a half dozen of great shame for me. It is a spliced run. Frigate Agent 23 spliced. It's simply a failed 23. Bug completed. There's even one hostage escape. The one hostage escapes, and there I literally just edited on a completed end screen, and I photoshopped a 23-second end screen right here. There we go. This run is fake. I was hoping to get banned. I really was hoping to get banned at the time. And I do kind of wonder how my life would have been different if I got banned by the GoldenEye community at the time, I feel like the 23, the lower one, is a bit too low. But, still, it's, this one's not a terrible splice, because in one of my other splices, you can actually see the frames blend together, which is kind of funny in hindsight, right? But it's true. It always makes me wonder, how would obviously you guys in here, you've come to accept me for who I am, and the mistakes and choices we've made over the past 15 years. And I'm thankful for that, of course. But I do wonder what my life would have been like if I actually got banned at the time. And I remember that I reread some of the posts recently from around this time. And obviously it's one of those things where I spliced, and I want to get banned. I want to prove a point. This is how I manifested my anger, right? As an angsty 18-year-old. But immediately, once you're confronted with the damage you've done, now you don't want to get banned, right? Now you're like, oh my god, no. And I remember, obviously I was a big headache for the community at the time. And I remember seeing a post I made saying something along the lines of look, you guys, being involved in this community is ruining my life. Obviously I've caused you great trouble. If you guys really hate me, if you guys really don't like me, you wouldn't ban me, because then it would keep me around and it would ruin my life even more. This is the emotional depravity I was going to not even explain or justify. This is just simply a manifestation of your anger, and it is good to revisit, because you need to learn how to control it as you age. You need to learn how to cool down, and this is why we've come up with the seamy values. And actually, I want to mention this hat leading up to this. I don't know if you guys can see it. This hat was sent to me from the Buc-ee's gas station, the legendary chain of Buc-ee's gas stations, by Mr. Spear, a fellow community member, happens to you. And it says on it, "Be kind, Buc-ee's, be kind." And this is, again, with the seamy values, If I could go back in my life and remove all moments of anger and rash decisions, I would. But live and learn. Here we are now. And, that's why I find it important to go over these sorts of instances in the community, that's for sure. Frigate 23, spliced. I didn't get banned. Was it destiny? Was it just nobody cared? Who knows? Who knows? But that's life, and you just make the most of it. That's all it is. So moving on now, we have another run from someone who actually would get 23 legitimately. Mind you, this is now in 2009. So there's been a period of 2 years where no one has got 23. It's still only Welder, Ace, and Boss, and of course my splice thing. Yeah. So 2009, finally someone comes along that's 23. And of course it is our pal Dave Clemens, legendary streamer and speedrunner Dave Clemens, one of the greatest GoldenEye players of all time. This is his only appearance in this video, so of course we're going to dedicate this run to a SpeedLore champion, Madry Bread. Thank you, Madry, for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon, and really appreciate it. And let's take a look at this cool run. This is like a perfect run. He shot 6 times and got a boost to the door. He took a little bit of time to adjust the throw there. A grenade goes... Oh, this is really cool, actually. So the grenade goes off, and in the cutscene, and blows everything up. 23 seconds, great run by Clem. Yeah, there's funny. Lovins, what an epic ending. Getting 23 consoles blowing up. The odds are like 1 in a million. The ending smells. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Funny comments. I actually made a tweet the other day about how great surreal it is to see like 12 years ago on YouTube comments. It's really crazy to see that, you know? So I find that really, really funny. But yeah, what a strange... just the idea, like, are we going to see 100 years ago? Are we going to see 100 years ago? Will YouTube get that far, or will it not, you know? So, great run by Clem. He became the 4th person to tie the time, and a big congratulations there. Now, the 5th person to tie the time would be none other than Mark Rutsu. Here's the problem with Mark Rutsu's run. It no longer exists. It is lost media. There was a whole post about why this became lost media recently. Joris, big shoutouts to the SpeedLore co-researcher, Joris Quevedo, Aleph. He dug up a huge and interesting post about Mark's runs. Due to some drama in the community in 2015, Mark got in a fight with with at least one other guy with a dubious time. Mark removed a lot of his questionable videos in Rutsuvision, the classic Rutsuvision, and this was one of them. No one had saved it. No one had saved the video. Alas, and we had a 5-year period where anyone could have pulled down the video and archived it, and no one did, which is kind of crazy. The run's lost forever. And we can see now he has a 24 on. That's his time with 24. His 23 is gone. So that's the way it is today. We will watch that 24 a bit later once we get caught up in chronological order. So, yeah. Well, you know what's funny, Medic, is we were actually like 25, 23 years old at this point. So it actually wasn't even teenage drama anymore. That's the way, you know, again, this is the thing, you got to catch yourself sometimes, because it's can be easy to fall back into these foolish ways. Now the next run we have to show from September 2010 was that of one gentleman named Henning Blom. We just got into a discussion about splicing, and we're going to dive right back in. This run, Very strange and remarkable. I believe this video actually has 2 runs shown. But it's a strange run. Of course, we've got to dedicate it to our fan of strange runs, SpeedLore champion, Mr. Moxie. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon, Mr. Moxie. Let's check it out. Let's check out this Henning run. So I believe this is a 23 fail. Oh yeah, I want to mention on Clemens, his run, he only shot 6 times, which is a very low amount of shots, which is nice. There's the bug. No hostage escape there. 23 fail. Now there is something that happens, and we've discussed this on certainly on facility and probably control and frigate. If an objective completes in the last frame, the final frame of the fade out, the game will say completed, but the time will not save to the cartridge. Well, it'd be pretty easy to just fake a run that way, wouldn't it? You know? No cutscene, completed, 23, best time 24, time not saved. I believe, to this day, Henning claims this run is legit. Legit, time not saved, 23. You know, maybe not to this day, because now we're probably like 5 or 6 or 7 years after he last commented on it, but you know what I mean. I believe, despite all scrutiny, Henning claims the run to be legit, and I kind of... I was looking, and like, he has the right cinema come up. Oh yeah, there's no cinema, that's right, there's no cinema. So like, you know, it's hard to know. I believe this run's probably legit. I'm willing to buy it. Now here's the thing. Henning wasn't happy with getting the time not saved. So he went and he did, I believe, confess that this run was spliced. And you could listen for the audio late in the run here. So he shot 9 times. He opens the door, gets the boost, that's nice. Chucks the bug, backs up. Okay, listen closely. Did you hear the audio like went to nothing and then came back? Frigate Agent 23, time saved. Now, you know, this run he claimed he did splice only because he wanted a time saved. He wanted, you know, he was unhappy with the time not saved. And, you know, again, who am I to judge? I can certainly relate to youthful angst. You know, you feel like this level can be brutal on your mentality because boss caked it in 2 hours. Ace, you know, relatively easily got the time. But then you're there playing it for hundreds of hours thinking like, am I wasting my life away playing this level? Which, like, you probably are. Why won't the game give me the time? And so it can be really hard. It wears on you and you're just like, well, I'm just going to splice it, you know? I'll make it easy. I'll just splice the time. And look, it's not right. It's not fair. It's not good. But that's the mentality, right? You're like, the game owes it to me. You'll do it. And this is every speedrunner who's cheated says this, you know? And, but it is an interesting thought I've had going on lately, because it's like, the thought comes to you like, you know, no one who splices in speedrunning has it all together, has everything in their life going on well. You know, you don't splice if you're in a good peace of mind. You know, so nowadays, I feel like, and that, you know, whatever happens to me in my life, it is what it is. I get it. I take whatever comes to me. But for others, you know, I feel like we need to have more compassion, and instead of focusing on punishment, we need to focus on rehabilitation and recovery, you know? Because speedrun cheaters aren't in a good place, and I hope they can get to a good place. And obviously this isn't that pertinent to myself or Henning, where this happened, you know, nearly 10, 15 years ago at this point. But people who are doing that stuff today, that's my view on it. So there we go. Those are now. That's all true. That's all how I feel. Of course, at the time when you are a gamer getting into trolling and having a good time and you're hanging out with the boys on the forums, you're always good for a funny troll now and then. This is what I would call a funny troll. In response to the outrage in the community that was going on when we kind of discovered Henning Splices, my alter ego named Zenith Legend posted this run. I think it's on my main channel, which is like really funny. Yep, it's on my main channel. Allegedly, a gentleman named Zenith Legend got this speedrun. Now, the reason Henning was caught, we don't see it in these runs, is, or do we actually? Yeah, so he has the D5K there. Oh, he puts away the D5K, so that's fine. But the way he was caught was because he put away the wrong weapon in the cutscenes on Secret and Double Agent. So pay attention to the cutscene, the ending cutscene on this run. November 2012 is when this was posted. It's such a funny and epic run. We're going to dedicate to our SpeedLore champion 4-day bender. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon so loyally. 4-day bender, very much appreciated. And here we go. Yes, the thread Henning made was called Frigate Cinema Problem, which is like an iconic meme in the community, of course. So this is a joke. This is a joke run. It's funny. It's meant to be funny. Nope.
Oh my god. They escaped. It's amazing. Can't believe they escaped. Holy shit, 23.
Wow, Frigate Agent 23. Unbelievable. What a time. What an amazing, well, it's funny. It's funny, right? It's funny. The rocket launcher in the boat. It's hilarious. Everyone has a good laugh. It's made in good fun and jest. And there it is. So, yeah, I like the audio turning on like way later as well. It's funny.
Oh my god.
In this run, I'm actually parodying a Clemens frigate fake from I believe 102. It was like webcam, and so it's like it's spliced in full movement. It's so silly. I don't have it right now, but again, we're you know, on the spectrum of cheating and misdeeds online. Where is a splice? Where is a intentionally funny splice? How do you weigh these things? You know, so it is what it is. But that's life. Yeah, no, the Clemens run still exists. It's probably even like in the thread. I probably even showed it in the Frigate Double Agent lore. Oh look, our pal JD's dug it up. The Beast JD. Yeah, the splice is so absurd. I'll just show you the splice, not even watch the whole run, because it's so silly. Okay, it's somewhere late in the run. This was done before the Zenith Legend one. Okay, watch. See if you can spot the splice. This cat's meowing.
Oh my god. They escaped.
It's amazing. Can't believe they escaped. Oh my god, that's insane. I don't want to.
It's his 102 Frigate Agent end screen instead of so we played a double agent run out and then like did an agent run where it was like 102 pace, and you know, it's just so it's too much. It's simply, some things are just too, yeah, spot the splice, guys. Okay, so look, at the end of the day, it's just all good fun in these cases, and it is what it is. So now we're going to move on to a couple actually legitimate runs. We're going to fly through a few. We're just going to show basically every Frigate 23 that was ever achieved. So the next person to achieve Frigate 23 would be, believe it or not, 4 years later. Weber, Boss, Ace, Clem, Mark, and then, believe it or not, Carl Jobst in July 2014. Now, what's interesting about this run is that Carl usually didn't stream with webcam back then. Nowadays, if he streams, you know, he's a popular guy these days. He'll stream with webcam, of course. Back then, it was very rare for him to stream at all, and especially with webcam. I believe his Bunker 2 Agent 23 also has webcam, but it's very rare. But this is indeed one of these runs, and he's pretty pumped. The boys are pretty pumped. I think they're in Mumble. Let's take a look.
Get to my fucking stream. Get to my stream immediately.
I'm watching. Oh my god! Wait for it. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, baby. Yes. Oh, fucking crazy, man.
Epic stuff. I couldn't hear who Woody was saying. Like, oh, he says someone's gonna be so salty. I don't know who he's talking about. It almost sounds like he's saying my name. I'm not sure. But hey, it is what it is. Carl got that 23. And yep, 2014 was 7 years ago, believe it or not. So we were in the midst of really epic moments in the community. I was streaming regularly at this point, probably the peak of my own streams, which is, again, insane to think it was 7 full years ago. Geez, if you had a time machine, would you go back? It's hard to know, hard to say. But great job, Carl. Only 4 days later, believe it or not, Henrik would show up with a 23. Henrik was, I mean, he's obviously we know how good he is. Last SpeedLore episode, he unhoarded the untied sweep on train. So we know Henrik's good. He had a really good understanding of Frigate and maybe decided, you know what, it's probably not as insane as people think. The luck is not as bad. I'll play a little bit for it, and he was able to get Frigate 23. So very, very nice job. Oh, that was was that a failed? Oh, okay, that was a failed run. I thought, was that a TNS? I was like, holy smokes, did I just miss a TNS? That was a really clean run, but he actually missed the door press before the bug there. So let's carry on. He's got the door open there. No boost to it. Chucks the bug. It's going to hit the nose of the chopper. Was a little bit leaning left, the bug throw. A nade, I heard. Hostage escaped. Nice. Another 23 with the nade going off in the cutscene. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Very nice run. The next person to get 23 was indeed Wotus, believe it or not. Wotus, obviously, champion of the game. And it is kind of crazy to think this was 6 years ago. Like, Wotus was getting really, really good times 6 years ago. Because it still feels like he's like a newer comer to the community, you know? So, meanwhile, he's a champion by, you know, almost 100 points now. But when you look at this time set all the way back then, it really kind of reminds you of how quickly time passes and people move and so on and so forth. You know? Very nice quality. You know, once he got going in GoldenEye, he was all business, and he would just get insane runs. Hostage escaped. You know, that's why he's still got untieds to this day. Bingo Bango Frigate 23, 7 shots, 6 limb hits, so each guard had 2 limb hits. The next guy at 23 was actually kind of surprising. It is indeed Ogran. Ogran is certainly best known for the Streets 154s. But those weren't the only times Ogran would get. You know, Ogran indeed would go out there and get this Frigate 23. He had 17 world records in his career, mostly between 14 and 17. Huh. That's crazy. You know, it's interesting to see, like, at this point now, we're going to see guys get 23. You're going to have to be a very good player to get 23. But you're no longer going to have to be, you know, an Ace, Clem, Mark, Boussard type. You're no longer going to be a greatest player of all time. So we'll see an interesting group of guys rolling with these 23s here. This one is by Sammy Rogers. Again, another guy. Sammy Rogers, you know, he had a lot of good times. 25 career records this gentleman has set. Unbelievable. Nice shots. Backing up. Let's see what we got here. Our boy Sergio, is that going to be Sammy's name in the next Beyond Truly Remarkable? 23, nailed it. 6 shots. 4 body, 2 limb. That was really, really nice. This one, oh, this is another similar. Justin St. Pierre. Justin St. Pierre. He only played for 2 or 3 years. This run was done in March 2016. St. Pierre, this guy was so good. He was in the gold. He went to the GoldenEye top 10, like without breaking a sweat, basically. He had like a top 10 time in 16-star Mario and like a top 10 Ocarina of Time 90% time. The dude was too good at video games. I believe he might have also had like a 2nd place Mario Sunshine time. I think there's a case to be made that, you know, he might have been the best rounded speedrunner of all time. Unbelievable. Like, I can't even describe it, you know, how good he was. He got Frigate 23. Now, the next Frigate 23 is indeed historic and remarkable. It is the 23 of Luke Scalars. It's a 5-minute run. I'm going to let the whole run play. Luke is, you know, often influenced by indie type of music and movies and art films and so on. He loves Twin Peaks. You know, he loves the kind of weird and surreal visual medium. His 23 would result in him becoming GoldenEye champion, even for a brief moment, as we'll find out. So this video is 5 minutes long. It's his tribute to becoming champion. I'm going to let it play out and enjoy. There we go. Luke's Frigate 23. 20 objective A on screen, as everyone points out. And yeah, his comment on the time is actually quite interesting. He says, oh, beautiful. Okay, says effing beautiful. Okay. Fair enough, Luke. I believe his comment, yes, down here is more interesting. So he says, I started going for this world record in March 2013 after I got 24 with a terrible stuck leaving the boat. That's almost exactly 3 years. In that time, I estimate to have had over 700 legit 23 fails where I killed both hostage takers. It's true. I remember he was really grinding for this time a lot. And again, compare us to someone like Mark, who got 23 after 2 or 3 runs. You know, it really makes you contemplate your existence in the world. You know, why is luck betraying you as opposed to someone else? He says the most intense periods of grinding were late 2013, late 2014, mid 2015, and the last few weeks. Before completing 23, I had 2 A complete B fails, so we had 2 hostage completes. Had I completed the bug on either of those, I would have been outright first place for at least an hour. Fate was such that after achieving this world record, I tied Ace for first place for 4 hours, after which Clemens got Depot 40, taking first place outright again. Being tied for first still technically counts as being champion. This makes me the first Australian player to ever be GoldenEye champion, something I'm very proud to say. And yeah, if we take a look at the Grease Pig world record progression, you know, we'll check it out. It's insane. Let's watch leading up to this. Watch what happens in March 2016, okay? So Clem, Ace, tie, Ace, tie, Clem, Mark, tie, Mark, Clem. Yeah, insane. So Luke was champion in there for, and you know, a couple hours, and Luke would retake towards the end of 2016. But the first time he become champion, obviously a big deal, and meant a lot to Luke, and he was happy to celebrate it with that amazing video. So way to go. Very, very epic. Now, oh yeah, a couple more. I'm just going to show all the 23s again. So we're just going to keep blasting through these 23s. This next one was a month later by Dan Swiss Parker. Believe it or not. Again, another guy who, you know, Swiss, Sammy, Justin St. Pierre, you know, these guys were very, very great and got some good world records. And, you know, exactly, you kind of wonder, will they return and get some more insane times, you know? Swisso still has some insane times on the ranking. I mean, you know, they all do, for sure. This is Swisso's 23. Very nice run. 8 shots, and that seems to be common, too. Someone's got the 3 passaways, someone's got 5. If a nade goes off, you'll often get 5. So pretty legit. Okay, so this one is by Sergeant Rage Quit. Deal. And again, this is a guy who didn't get, I would say, that many uncommon records. So this is kind of cool to see. This is probably one of his most notable records. This frigate. 17 total world records. 6 are still records today. So, I mean, still pretty decent, you know? But oh yeah, this would be a full year later, believe it or not. December 2017. So there was about a year-long drought of Frigate 23s there. A year-long drought. But he got 23, pretty epic. And about a month later, early 2018, we would see Frosthops, Jonathan Hauptmann, get 23. Frosthops and Swiss have the tide on Frigate 00. So they're both, you know, still established frigate players. Frosthops and Swiss. And this is, you know, Frosthops getting the getting Frigate 23 long before then. Wow. Very nice run. 23, baby. You got it. Beautiful run by Frosthops. Way to go. So here we are in January 2018, and we can see we've caught up. We've watched all these 14 Frigate 23s. Quite a number racking up. We're going to watch some more in a little bit. But what's interesting is that we're going to dive into some new technique that comes about and shakes things up. First, though, in late 2017, we're going to watch one more 24, believe it or not. So, I referenced this earlier. Mark Rutsu, his 23 is lost media. It's gone. So, Mark decided he was going to try, at least throw a run or two down. He never really streams with Facecam either, which is funny. This is very rare. But he decided I'm going to throw a rundown or two, and we'll see what happens on Frigate. After 4 tries of Frigate, this would happen. Yeah, let's just play it out, and I'll talk about it afterwards.
I suck at this level.
Here's his 4th run.
I really suck. Maybe 24. I have to de-rust a lot in this level. Like, Ace is a fucking beast in this level. I think this is 24. Hostage escape. What? It completed. 24. No. No. Oh my god! There was Amos on the screen! I could have gotten 23 on that run! What? Did that just happen? Oh my god! I was just randomly playing Frigate. And I was so rusty, what could I do? I got 24. Well, I guess that can go to the rankings. That's like, what, 85 points or something? Oh well, good points anyway.
So what's really funny with this time is that we can see he didn't have a worst PB at 30, which was worth 0 points. And I think for some reason the 30 was actually not ranked or something. Because it's like... I saw something somewhere where it was like... It might have been the SpeedLore thread that when Mark got this 24, it was so wacky. He had no time submitted, so he had an NA. And so when you have an NA, which is like you don't have a time, then on the rankings page, it counts as 20 minutes. So you can imagine plus 20 minutes, you're like 100th on the time chart. And so what happened is when he got this time, he went from 20 minutes in the stage to 24 seconds. He cut 20 minutes of time, and he jumped from like 100th up to 2nd place on the time rankings. Something silly like that took place. So very, very funny, very wacky, and it's because he, in a fit of rage, deleted his Frigate 23 video and some other videos, and, you know, yeah. Crazy stuff from Mark Rutzer there. Now we get into a bit of a strange deep dive, okay? Here's a thread from January 2018. Icy Speedruns talks about the Frigate strategy, awareness, and discussion. It is a strategy, one of the most unintuitive, misunderstood, and unknown strategies in the game. It comes up every once in a while as players decide to look into it. There are 5 different opening cutscenes on Frigate. If you get this one, okay, you're able to shoot at the hostage taker with use of 2.3. 2.2 and 2.4 don't allow aiming with the second controller. You can't fire with 2.1, so you must use 2.3. Sounds simple enough. The issue is that objects can be randomly loaded or unloaded, NPCs can be randomly loaded or unloaded, and the shot itself is extremely difficult to hit since you can only aim up and down, not totally freely. To execute the strategy correctly, you need objects unloaded to avoid blowing everything up. You need NPCs loaded to actually shoot the taker, and then you need to hit the very precise shot. Following that, 2.3 is a very awkward control style to use, as moving forward and strafing are split across the 2 controllers. You also don't gain full speed as you would with 2.2 or 2.4. This means you'll almost certainly be moving slower than you would with 1.2 or even 2.x, and you're trading speed for consistency with hostage completions. However, because of the infrequency of the strategy actually working, it defeats the purpose of improving consistency. It's also possible you'll experience additional lag than normal as you alert the other 2 guards in the bridge. This strategy was first discovered by Wall and posted in this thread back in 2012. Very interesting. So, in this thread from 2012, Greg Wall talks about differences between Japanese and NTSC. And he talks about a couple other things. The strange bunker mystery. Actually, this is what I talk about this in one of my more popular videos about mysteries in GoldenEye, the equipment switch. So this is kind of whatever, but he mentions the Frigate Cinema release hostage during intro, and so that's what Icy described. Is what is going on here. Is what he's describing. Here's some videos. Okay, let's watch the video. This one's called 2.3 Frigate Hostage Death. So this means that in this run, okay, he's going to shoot, and we will explain this in 3 more clips. But you can shoot during the opening cutscene on the up and down axis, and in this case he's going to miss the hostage taker, and the hostage will pass away. Hostage passed away. He shot into the room, he alerted the hostage taker then shot the hostage. This one he's actually going to blow up the consoles. Hostage released, but like not really, because he passed away right after. So that's too bad. Here it's working. This is Greg Wall from 2012, believe it or not. Hostage released. Well, 2.3, like all you have to do is start the game up, play 2.3, and you'll realize why nobody wanted to touch us. We knew this was a strategy for 6 years at this point. Nobody wanted to touch this. Now, I made a video in October of this year explaining this. I'm going to put myself on mute, and we're going to watch that explanation, about 4 or 5 minutes of this video. Frigate 22 is a really strong time that only a few runners were even able to pace, and it requires capitalizing on a run where you get the rare luck factor of both the hostages escaping. Something that could technically happen as often as 1 in 41 runs, but really is far, far less common than that, because of all other sorts of randomness. Each one of these hostages, and both of them need to escape to complete Objective A, rescue hostages, must not only be freed, but also follow a path to a despawn point outside the boat. Only one of their 6 despawn points are close enough to reach quickly enough to get a time of 22 seconds. So you'd think roughly 1 in 36 runs might complete, but unfortunately that's not the case. They can get stuck on guards, chairs, unload, reload, pick the correct escape point but then change their mind because you looked at them the wrong way. This one hostage in particular can get really messed up because when you're freeing his buddy over here, it lures a guard in the way. And the way the game works in regards to loading or unloading NPCs means this hostage can get stuck on this guard or end up just running very slowly, too slowly to complete the level in world record time. The stage is truly a chaotic mess, a big cluster. But could it be, at all, simplified? And might an attempt to simplify things really just complicate it further? So if you're watching this channel, you're probably familiar with control styles 2.2 and 2.4, often referred to as the 2.x control styles. In that context, they're used because the game processes actions on the second controller during intro cutscenes into levels, allowing you to do things like shoot and build full speed before the mission begins. But what about the other control styles, presumably 2.1 Plenty and 2.3 Domino? They exist but aren't ever really mentioned in speedrunning. Why? Well, 2.1 is pretty useless in this regard. The only actions you can do on your second controller before the level starts are look up and down on the Y-axis and point your crosshair aimer. But you can't shoot, so you can aim at stuff but not shoot. Yeah, definitely quite pointless, and no benefits to it are known. This isn't quite the same with 2.3 though, which actually does have a theoretical use in the game. You see, the control sticks are mapped the same way as 2.1, that being the first controller stick strafes around, while the second controller looks up and down. However, the Z buttons are swapped from 2.1, meaning with 2.3, the aimer is on the first controller, and hence the Z button shoots on the second controller. If you remember Control Style 2.4, you can definitely shoot during cutscenes, which is great, but you can only shoot in the exact center of the screen. So if something you want to shoot is slightly off-center, well, no luck. For example, this camera on the Surface 2 cutscene is visible in an intro cutscene, but not hittable. However, Control Style 2.3 might change things, since now you can look up and down on the second controller while also shooting. Now, this doesn't quite help you out here on Surface 2, since the camera is a little bit left of center. However, one level that this can help you out on is Frigate Agent. Well, plausibly all of Frigate. You see, with this cutscene, there is a hostage taker taking a hostage just a little bit up from the center of the screen. Thus, with Control Style 2.3, you can look up and shoot, thus eliminating the hostage taker, freeing a hostage early, which can help complete half of the Objective A, rescue hostages. It's really not that simple though. You see, for one, there's not a clear path from the view of this cutscene to the guard you must pass away. This set of consoles are in the way, and if you shoot them, well, everything blows up, passing away the hostage. Not good. So what you must do, and this is where it gets a bit wacky, is load up Surface 1 or Cradle. Just do it once at the beginning of your session, then go back to play Frigate, and voila, the consoles become unloaded during the opening cutscene. Why is this? What sorcery could this be? Well, it's because Frigate is missing some of the sky textures, so by loading Surface 1 or Cradle, it sets the sky textures to a particular value, which overwrites the non-existent value on Frigate, and the result is that the consoles are unloaded from afar. Yeah, I told you this strategy gets pretty convoluted, and it's not done there. Because even then, when you do shoot in the cutscene, there's some bloom on your weapons, so you won't even consistently hit the hostage-taking guard. Sometimes you can hit the hostage, sometimes other guards in the room, but all in all, it is worth it because every few runs, you'll get this message: hostage released, meaning that hostage is on his way to escaping early. But not always, because even then, he only has a 1 in 6 chance of choosing the correct escape point, which is completely random. But when he does escape, you will see hostage escaped only a few seconds into your run. And this is because the 1 of 6 escape locations close enough for him to escape only takes him a couple seconds to run to. Thus, if you do not see hostage escaped, you know the run is for naught, and it's time to try again. He will have no chance of escaping over the next 20 seconds, because his next closest escape point is much further away than that. Wow, there we go. That was a really great explanation. So that's what's going on in the insane 2.3 strategy on Frigate. Yeah, it explains it really well. So, I mean, look, it explains better than I could. It's more succinct, it's, you know, so that's why I wanted to show that clip, and now you will understand what's going on. So now take all of that knowledge and put it back in the back of your head, because we're going to, just like the community, ignore that for now. So, Perfect Ace is playing Frigate for 22. He's one of the only guys who can consistently fail 22 speed. He's watching Mark Rutsu as well. Perfect. Opens the door, gets a boost to the door. Chucks the bug. The bug fails somehow. The longer line of text in Japanese is the fail, a shorter one is the complete. What do you think happens? Hostage escaped. Objective A completed. The black text is completed. 22 seconds. Ace legitimately had a 22 failed bug throw. Unbelievable. A tragedy. A true and utter tragedy. A 22 failed bug throw. Here's just an example of an ace failing Frigate 22. A general Frigate 22 fail. Wow, the video's... He has some sort of news scrolling at the top of his video, which is kind of cool. Oh, I'm streaming, sounds like. Or maybe it's a video. 22 failed. So Ace is failing a lot of 22s. This is even a hour-long session. You can see the video's 56 minutes long of him just failing 22s over and over and over. So Ace is going for 22, and he's coming quite close, but he just can't quite get the 22. It's just not quite working out for him. There's a 22 fail, right? So like every run's a 22 fail. Ace is pretty close. I mean, look, if luck was slightly different, if that bug throw landed, he would have got 22. And the history of GoldenEye would have been changed forever. But he didn't. And so we're going to watch a handful of 23s again. This one was done in March 2018 by Graviton. Let's take a look. So he backstrapes out of the Frigate, which is a decent strategy. Strafes right to this guy. 2 shots, so 7 shots total. So, interestingly, I noticed MW, who's a very knowledgeable gamer, brought up in the SpeedLore thread that it seemed like over time people started playing Frigate a little bit worse. Because it completed doesn't matter. It completed got 23. But, like, he went right to the door and opened it and peeked out, as opposed to opened it from afar and got boosted towards it. So a little bit slower, a little bit less optimal. Mind you, it might be intentional, because at this point the guys are so good, to give the hostages the most time to complete, you want to fail 23.9. You don't want to fail 23.3. Doesn't get you anywhere. You want to fail 23.9. So you actually want to time the run well and play slowly, and you know, not slowly so it's 24, but slow enough so it's always 23. This run is 23 by Greg K. Vidor Miranda. Really actually surprising because he's not traditionally a GoldenEye player, this guy. You know, so here we go. Gets the bug throw, chucks it. He's a perfect arc legend, but not traditionally a GoldenEye world record setter. So yeah, pretty impressive that he got 23. And Bingo Bango runs in there, gets it. Very nice run. Yeah, I would say one of the most surprising 23s, you know. So he's very, very good, very impressive stuff from this guy. Yeah, wow. It's got to be the most unusual player to have 23, I would say. But he's a good, and you know, he's come up recently in the community because a lot of the lads are playing Pokemon Snap, submitting scores to CyberScore. Vidor Miranda, Greg K, already has a bunch of good times. He submitted to CyberScore like 10 years ago. So he already has these, like, I'm getting Pokemon Snap PBs, and it's like, he already beat me 10 years ago. So he's like a legit N64 gamer all time, you know? And he still has some perfect arc, at least one perfect arc untied, so he's still pretty good. Needless to say, you know? This 23 is by Gus Riolo. Riolo's a top GoldenEye player. He was the king of... He probably is still the king of 2.x. Cali, you might say, is as well now. But he's pretty damn good. He was the first to get Surface 1 147, which is insane. Insane time. And this is his Frigate 2023. Hostage escaped. Switches to Phantom in the Fade for fun. Bingo Bango 23. Gotta load up this other one. Okay, this one's also surprising. This is Birdie. Matthew Burden. June 21st, 2018. The longest day of the year. Seven shots. Wow. He ran right to the door again. So this is what MW was noticing, that a lot of these guys were running right to the door. And, let's see. Left strafe. Remember, Wouter was doing right strafe on his original 23. But Birdie... How many 23s with Objective A on screen have we seen? 2? It was like bosses and one other. So 23 by Birdie. Great stuff. So a lot of great... Oh, I didn't know that, Niall, that Vidor didn't have any more Perfect Arc Untieds. I thought for sure he did, so thanks for that correction, believe it or not. I thought he had a... You know what, I was thinking Attack Ship. I was thinking Attack Ship 232. That's what I was thinking. And, of course, Zella has bopped that away, so... Okay. Anyhow, we got a couple of Twitch clips now. From the Minnesota Meet 2018. 2 clips here. So Jimbo was going for 23 with the boys. There's Clem, there's Austin, Boss is in the background. I see Grav there. So a lot of good pals. Let's see what happens to Jimbo on this run.
Was that on purpose?
No.
See, the thing I hate is, like, now my knowledge is so good that, like, I pay attention to the guard deaths. You know, whereas when I first went for 23, I didn't really pay attention to that. I just killed him and went. But now it's like when I see that best death, it's like I know it has a shot right away. I mean, realistically, for 23, you need one of the best guard deaths.
Well, the nade trolled him, kind of back boosted him.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
Oh! Shit!
What?
This might be...
No! 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 The Heartbreaker!
That grenade.
The Heartbreaker! Oh my god!
That's horrible.
Dude, my heart rate just skyrocketed for nothing. What the f?
Yep. Can you imagine, like, getting 23 with the boys there would have been such a pump celebration, and unfortunately it didn't happen. And to make matters worse, I watched this clip a few times. I don't think it's intentional, but, like, someone goes and moves his chair as he's about to sit in it.
No, I'm sitting there. Watch out, I said I was sitting there. Oh, man. I haven't done that in years. That was on stream, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't know if it was or not. You know what's funny is, remember our old fucking share.
So, you know, Jimbo had, you know, it could have been a rougher day, but, you know, a rough day. It could have been a better day. He could have got 23, and he could have not fallen in the chair. But you know what? That's all okay. Jimbo's rough day at the Minnesota meet in May 2018. Memorial Day weekend, they usually have it. It's all for naught because on June 30th, 2018, he would redeem himself with this amazing run. A run so amazing that we're going to dedicate it to our SpeedLore champion, Sammy Limex. He's in the chat. Thank you, Sammy, for supporting us on Patreon. Let's enjoy this Jimbo Frigate run.
That's the current temperature outside right now. Wow. 92. Very hot today. Shut my AC off just now for the first time in probably 12 hours. I can feel it. It's getting hot already. I don't know how long I'm gonna sit in silence.
He had got a world record for almost 2 years.
So I recharged the air conditioning on my truck today, and it worked. I felt like a boss. And then I promptly blew a radiator hose as I was driving back home. Like, oh my fucking god, just pissing out coolant everywhere. So it's in my driveway right now with some cardboard underneath it. My dad and I can fix that. Might do that all day. Yes! Oh, this is it. 23 right here. Yeah! We did it! We did it! It's over! It's not as hype of a record as it used to be, but it's still cool to get a record. Yes! Alright. 32 minutes into stream. I even had time to spare at the end because I took a wide turn into the boat. 23.99 music is really, really easy to figure out on here, so I had a little bit of time to spare.
There you go. He knew it was 23. And yeah, I mean, like, at this point in time, people are realizing, okay, I want to go at 23.9, not sooner. It does nothing for me. And people can kind of feel out the run. So he claims he took a bit of a wide turn to the boat because he knew he was maybe a 10th fast. You know, he was a 10th fast. And that is it, man. That is it. 23. Beautiful run by Jimbo. Way to go. We have 2 more 23s to show. Yeah, 2 more 23s to show. So this one is Dusky. I like to call him the Duskinator. I don't know if anyone else used that nickname for him, but he's a good bloke. Very good at video editing, and he has a very popular series on his YouTube channel where he reviews pizza. But I think he stopped the series after 3 pizzas, unfortunately. But a lot of people are requesting him to bring that back. And look how good his video quality is. I mean, this is the best video quality of the night, I would say. And wow, that was just sick. That was just beautiful. Beautiful. 23. He switches to unarmed as he enters the boat. And we get the PP7 cutscene. Yeah, pizza reviews. That's what it's called. Pizza reviews. Yeah, he is the Frigate LTK right now. That's right. Clemens had the record for like 10 years straight. And then Dusky went and got it. And then this, December 2018, this is the record of Oscar P. Oscar Planinger. And he really nailed this run. And he's got a few good times. I think he got the Jungle Agent record as well. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to, after I show Oscar's run, I'm going to read Dusky's comment. He left in SpeedLore. He left a good one. So there we go. Here's Oscar's Chuck. And there we go. Yeah, I'm surprised at how none of these have the hostage on Objective 8 on screen. There we go. 23, great stuff from Oscar P. Yeah, so Dusky said in the SpeedLore thread, he said, my 23 grind was 20 minutes from scratch. Sad I never had my pop-off recorded, but Sammy Rogers and the Rixer were around for the moment. So, there you go, you know, it's funny because, again, Luke spent, you know, hundreds of hours on 23, and meanwhile there's some guys like Dusky who have, it took them, you know, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I mean, that's really, really insane, you know. Unbelievable. But what is even more unbelievable, believe it or not, and there is one thing more unbelievable, was the grind of one man coming up next. At this point, 21 people have Frigate 23. We are in early 2019. That's actually really funny, JD. I had no idea that that Dusky was going for 21 on the 60 frames per second emulator and couldn't quite get it. But hey, that's crazy. We can see in 2019, you know, now has come the rise of Carl Jobst, Dam 52, Bunker 16, Archives 15, Depot 00, Egypt Agent. And so Carl was on a tear. And Carl really, really wanted to grind for Frigate Agent 22. And unlike Dam 52, which kind of was a grind on and off over a year or so, 250 hours, Frigate has a strange... Frigate's strange. Some people take hundreds of hours. Sometimes things just happen. And for Carl, the run just happened, and you can hear it in his reaction to the run. He knows exactly 22 pace. We know Ace has been failing 22s. Carl's obviously also very good. He can fail 22s, and he's just going to keep doing it until he gets the run. He really knew as well the animations of the guards passing away. He has a video about Frigate Agent, and he explains it very well in that video. But he knows exactly what to expect from the guards passing away, and he says on this run they were optimal. So let's take a look.
I think I got there too early, man. One of them escaped though. Holy shit.
So that would look like a 22 fill where one hostage escaped.
I thought it was perfectly timed, but I didn't hear that. So I didn't kill that guy to see if he phones me or not. This is too fast.
Too fast because he had a boost.
Oh no! 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 Yeah! What the? What the? Oh no! Oh my god! Oh no! Oh my god! What the hell, dude? Oh no!
He can't believe it. Chat can't believe it. No one can believe it. I mean, that was so fast and good. Stunning. Truly stunning and utterly remarkable. I mean, what more can you say, you know? He has a comment here, you know, for people wondering. I was saying no at the end only because I was prepared to play for weeks or months for his time, but I got about 30 hours. I knew it was 22 pace the whole time. I had to wait at the end or it wouldn't complete. It was part of the strategy to finish at the last possible time and still get 22. Unbelievable. A lot of people commenting, pretty pumped about this time, so yeah, amazing stuff, amazing stuff. And like, what's interesting is that this was his last Untied. If you were to see this run at the time it happened, you would have thought he's still on this heater. Dam 52 in December 2017, Archives 15, Egypt 44, Jungle 49, all these insane times he got. And then this in January 2019. And you'd think, okay, there's a period of 13, 14 months where he's got like 7 or 8 untieds, many on Agent. He's unstoppable. But believe it or not, this would be his final untied in GoldenEye to date. He hasn't gotten untied since. And obviously he's on to bigger and brighter things. Of course, bigger and brighter things. And, good for him for sure. Way to go. Killing it out there. But I'm sure some are wondering, will he ever return to GoldenEye? And who knows? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. I would, you know what? It's hard to know. Obviously, when you think, okay, I can spend 30 hours going for Frigate 22, a lot of people are going to be pumped. That's cool. But, when you can obviously, reach a lot more people making, videos about speedrunning, it's a hard thing to weigh. Am I going to return to speedrunning or not? So, who knows? I guess time will tell. Time will indeed tell. What was the difference for him getting 22? I think he just was playing better. I think he was like, I just got to bust in here and shoot really quickly. 2 shots, and turn, open the door. And just, him and Ace would just, okay, play faster. So, yeah, you know what, Engage, I didn't go deep into the death animations. Carl's video explains it really, really well. But, like, basically, you do want this guard to have, like, the second fastest death or something like that. So that way it gives him the least chance of getting stuck on other guards. And then you want the other one to have the fastest one, of course. Something like that. So it is what it is. It was what was needed for 22. He had the perfect animations, and the run came together. And that is what it is. And of course, there we see the tail end. Jungle Agent 49, Frigate Agent 22. And nothing beyond that. But amazing stuff. And so the question arose over the next little while, because most of his untieds I set in that tear were tied. Bunker 116 was tied by Clemens, I think. Jungle Agent got tied. Egypt got tied by Hados. And so the question was, like, who's going to tie all these records? Dan 52 is still untied. No one's got there yet, but all the other ones people were kind of gunning for, right? When you rise to the top, you get a bit of a target on your back, Now, surprisingly, a gentleman by the name of White Ted was the one who wanted to do it. White Ted is probably the most deep dive genius GoldenEye's ever seen. This one's called 22 Illegit Fail. Yeah, Ace came close. Like, Ace has gone for 22 on and off over and over again, So here's Ted is trying to finally learn the 2.3 strategy, but it's insanely difficult. It's super difficult. But look, the benefit is you only have to shoot the one guard. So even though with 2.3, and you do switch away when you can, you switch away to in the bug throw. But you only have to rescue the first hostage now, which makes a big difference. So he misses the bug throw, runs out here, and this is indeed, let's see, it's a 22 fail. Very, very nice. Let's see what else. This says Frig 22 legit fail, dodgy proof. I wonder what this is all about. Well, Ted is just like, it's what amazes me about Ted is, like, I've obviously been around this community for 15 years, more than that now. And you see people come and go, and you see some people who really see the game differently than anyone else, and it's cool. But it's like Ted sees the game so much different than anyone else that it's like, it's so unbelievable, the things he sees and figures out that others never would, It's really amazing. So here's a hostage escaped. You know, his surface out of order keys strat is unbelievable. No one's pulled it off yet, you know? PP7, tracker bug. And so what's kind of funny is, and I'll admit this, throughout 2020, Ted was going for this time a lot. He was spending a lot of time playing this, and he would stream it as well. I would tune into his streams, and honestly, I would never see anything too promising going on. And I was kind of like, you know what? It's cool that he's experimenting with 2.3. It's cool that he's going for it, but like, I was a doubter. And I was like, you know what? I don't think he's going to get 22. It's like, yeah, he's failed a few. He's, you know, okay, he's learning the 2.3 style, but like, I didn't think he was failing it often enough to have a chance. Now, mind you, assume you free the hostage, the first one with the 2.3 trickery, and assume he escapes. Well, now it's really only like 1 out of 6 for the second hostage to escape, right? Instead of having 2, you have to rely on, there's only 1 you have to rely on. And so that helps immensely. But still, I was a doubter, and he was playing it for 6 months, honestly, on and off. So Mark Adam in here says that he played 45 hours, which isn't that much. But yeah, you know what? It is what it is, and history would be made on August 21st, 2020. A historical speedrun that must be dedicated to a SpeedLore champion, and it's our pal, Soul Orak. Thank you, Soul, for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Check out this insane, legendary run by White Ted. So, Baxter's on the boat, hostage released, hostage escaped, so that one's out. There's a guard there, that makes it a bit trickier.
Good.
That was really good. Like, that's very impressive. Back boost might have helped.
Yes! Oh my god. It might be, it might be. The ramp was a bit dodgy. Oh my god. Even I was starting to think it was just a meme.
That is really funny because, like, I was thinking it was a meme. I was thinking that, like, you know what? I don't think he's going to get it. I thought it was endearing that he was going for it, and I wished him the best, but I didn't think he was going to get it, and he did. And it's epic, and it creates this insane world where, you know, if we look at the rankings today, the 22, it's like the most unbalanced tie, in a way. We have Carl, who got 22, approaching with immense skill, playing the best GoldenEye of his life, consistently knocking out 22 runs. You know, this obviously had a lot of knowledge, but you would say he's a skill player. And Ted, on the other hand, is a much less skilled player. And he was able to use just this big brain to figure out the technique and get the run. And it's really, really cool to see.
Oh, that's funny. That was high, really high. Damn. Did I get bagged? Oh my god. I actually feel kind of sick now.
Now, he has a celebration edit as well. I don't know how much this will make it into the YouTube video, but it is kind of funny, interesting. Obviously, we showed Luke's celebration edit, so let's take a look.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, this country has been key in discovering what goes on down there. The British
Strut
Survey, an organization of people, and what they've discovered is that
2.3.
far from being remote and desolate, it is key to understanding what is happening here. So
Golden Greg
can be proud of the fact that it was key to the beginning of that source, that exploration, and that had brought it to this spectacular climax.
The Untied Sleigh
Seemed as far away, as desolate, and as empty as it could possibly get to be on this planet. But actually, only temporarily. So our concern about
the current world record
is essential because
22.
It's in such danger. And so that our future and everybody's future will be affected by what people working on this ship, British scientists and others, will be discovering in years to come.
21.
Which we thought was so remote, but which we realize now is absolutely up here. Now we realize that although we have done a great deal about what goes on down there, now we realize that that remote place down there is in fact up here. What goes on down there at the North Pole, and what we do affects what happens down there, just as what goes on down there affects what happens down there up here in the Northern Hemisphere, and on the temperate regions affects the whole of down there.
And thank you, Sir David. Inspiring words for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived. The launch team advised that we're all good to go. So what I will ask is that we have a countdown from 5. If you can join me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Launch. Launch.
God.
So as far as I am concerned, to see this magnificent hull with my name on it is the greatest possible honor. And I thank everyone who has been involved in this wonderful enterprise and wish them huge success. Thank you very much.
Could I have 3 cheers for Sir Jane, beg your pardon, Sir David and Dame Jane?
Wait a minute, let me do that one again.
For Sir David Attenborough.
Hide the air, the atmosphere in which we're living.
Wow, it's amazing. That is Ted's insane frigate edit. He says the name's Ted, White Ted, but y'all can call me Chris, which again isn't even his name. First world record, was his first world record, but the second sub 24A on screen ever. I think it's actually the third, because Luke and Boss had it, I believe. Shouts to Golden Greg for the inspired strat, which is over 8 years old, and to Berg, Joey, and all the other believers for the constant encouragement. I never seen a 23, but I imagine I'll see one when I go for 21. My friends, is Frigate 21 possible? Well, we're not going to find out right away. We only have 3 more runs to show. But, I mean, yeah, look, it is insane to see the Ted Frigate 22 tied with Carl, and that's his only world record, right? Like, that's it. Like, he doesn't have any other times. You know, he has actually Frigate 102 secret, which is decent. Dan 53, but like generally he doesn't really have many other times. So it's insane. This is what he wants to do. He wants to play Frigate. That's Ted for you. Now, since 22 has been a world record, 6 people have gotten 23 as not a record. I'm going to show one of them. This is our pal Dynamics, DJ Dynamics, who we watch a lot of in the Frigate 00 lore. So he's a well-known Frigate lore feature. This was like a run that he got where it happened really quick, really randomly, and yeah, something was quite silly. So okay, let's take a look at this. Oh, okay, so he hadn't got it quickly. He'd been playing for 50 hours. Yes. Okay, so he had been playing for 50 hours, going for 24. He didn't have 24 yet. And this was like he was playing first thing in the morning type of thing, you know? When you're just zonked.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! That could be 23! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! In hell! Holy oh, holy holy shit! What? 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 Oh! What? What the f? What the f? What the f? Oh my god. I'm spinning. I'm actually f***ing spinning. Holy shit. My head's spinning. Whoa.
It is funny. It's true. I mean, it's stunning. You're not expecting it because, like, the reason you play speedrunning really is the excitement of getting a new PB. The rush. It's a rush, and it can become an addiction, you know. It's exciting to get a new PB, and so like for him to skip to 23, it's insane. It's insane, and so that's like max rush, you know, max dose of the insane rush. You got 23, freaked out. I mean, who wouldn't? Okay, a couple more strange things to show. This was recent. This is a thing that's been cool lately. It's like a bracket tournament. It's called the Match Cup, or the Cal Cup, since he's the organizer of it. You know, people refer to it with their nicknames. So what you do is 2 people play. So me and you play. We both play dam. Whoever gets the fastest time wins that course. It's like match play in golf or other sports, you know. And we go down the level of 20, and whoever has the most wins the match and moves on. You know, this is exactly like how, yeah, I mean, golf tournaments, match play tournaments are played like that. And I can't even think of other sports exactly, but you get it. Oftentimes, they'll ban one level, so I'll be like, oh, you're going to train, I'm bad, we're going to not play train. And they'll be like, okay, we're not playing silo. And that's that. We play all the other levels, and we go down and do this. Now, in this case, JD Black and Aleph Joris, the co-researcher, are playing. JD is watching Joris on Frigate. JD's down 2 levels to 1. Okay, so this is Joris, and this shows you what happens on Frigate a lot of the time.
Got a little troll there.
You got a little troll, you had 9.
For the throw.
Okay, didn't go for the throw.
Not going for the throw.
Didn't go for the
I
throw.
hope the hostages complete fast, you'll learn your lesson.
Okay.
No, they didn't complete fast. That's an escape.
No, that's a
Get
release.
fucked.
That's a release, yeah. There's one escape. So one had a delayed pass away.
Unless I get fucking mega trolled as well, then I should be winning Frigate.
So
That's what you get for not going for the throw.
So Joris is going back.
Oh, there it is.
What?
Where did that guy come from? What the
He gets
101.
101.
Unless I like fail, like I kill a hostage, I should easily win here.
There we go. So that's what's at stake. Now, a couple things to note. Joris was the second person to get Frigate 23 as a non-world record. Janne Pitkanen was the first. And also, JD Black forgets to remove Joris' stream from his layout. So we can only see 2 small banners of gameplay of JD Black. But we'll be able to pick up on what happens here. And he needs to win this. He just has to beat 101. He needs to win this for the match, you know, to stay in it. To avoid going 3 down.
It's a bit sketchy, but fine. Clutch that well, and I'm going for the mine throw like the boss, or the bug throw. Also, yeah, I failed the bug throw.
He failed the bug throw, and so he lost. And he wrote "bruh" in his split. I imagine someone like designed this like program to load out the match play. That's kind of cool. That's kind of fun. You know what? Maybe if I return to streaming, I'd play match play against someone. That might be fun. Okay, so this was a funny, and it shows you what can go wrong on Frigate. A lot can go wrong on a 1-try event. A lot of guys wanted me to talk about the RTA, like agent speedruns and whatnot. I mean, we've already been here 2.5 hours. It's a bit much, so it happens. And yeah, exactly, JD. It happens to all of us. I've certainly been there, and who hasn't? Who hasn't? Okay, so what else I want to show? Oh yeah, so I forgot about this till the last minute. And I'll show it as well. So before Ted tied Frigate 22, this gentleman, Joey D, aka I forget exactly what his name was also known as, but this was a strange gentleman. He claimed he had tied 22 Frigate. He said 272-hour time was going to be safe for a Horde. This is my last time in the Elite. Shout out to Ted, Wally, and Brent. Still on the flip side. I got it about 2 weeks ago. Consoles sold. Vid coming in a bit with one other surprise. XZC. Also known as Joey or Mom Hunter 69 he went by. There's a thread in which he writes this, my farewell to the Elite. This is my final message to the Elite, the forums or otherwise. I decided about a month ago I didn't really belong in the community. People were rude to me. I understand I'd always been a idiot, but I was a real person. You know, won't get into details, had a few interactions. People, you know, didn't like me, etc. And you know what? It's just one of those posts where you can tell he's having a hard time. You can tell he's having a hard time, and, you know, I know exactly how this is. I just an hour ago was discussing it about the spliced runs. Henning and myself, a lot of guys have been there. And so, did he get 22? Did he not get 22? You know what? I don't even think it's important. I think what's important is that we hope XZC is doing well and he's in a better place. And I genuinely mean that. You know, we know you didn't get 22. It's okay. You don't have to be embarrassed. We just hope that you're doing well and you're feeling better and you're in a better place. So, there you go, XZC. One more thing to show in this lore now. I'm sure Ted would have me here all night long showing things in lore. He has a lot more to show, but he is a big, you know, he knows his tool-assisted speedruns. He knows his ROM hackers. He is on a practice ROM here. Let's take a look, okay? Let's take a look. This is a practice ROM EverDrive. And he's obviously improving his speed and movement in this scenario. So he's really working on his gameplay here. Let's take a look. What's going to happen? Chucks the bug. Backs up. Oh, that was really nice. Ooh, back boosts. It's okay. A boost. Oh my god, a boost. Get practice ROM. Not legit.
Boost might have saved that, I'm not sure. I think it's still low 22. Oh, there he is. First time on the prices from actually. No.
So he has achieved a 21 with his ROM hack. Really all it does, you can see in the bottom right here, it has a bunch of time stamps for like different items, different locations. And yeah, I mean, that's all there is. So does that answer the question? 21.88. Is 21 possible on Frigate Agent? It seems to be the case. It seems like the answer is yes. Frigate 21 is indeed possible. And that's amazing stuff from Ted. I'll link his YouTube channel in the description of SpeedLore, of course, on the YouTube upload. You can, if you're nerding out, I mean, there's a lot of videos to go through that make no sense to any person who doesn't have deep esoteric knowledge of the GoldenEye community like anyone who's watching the full 3 hours of this lore would have. So if you're still here, you'll enjoy Ted's YouTube, going through and seeing what the heck's going on. But there it is. That is the story of Frigate Agent. I mean, is there anything else to say? I think we've pretty well covered it. This insane story of crazy grinds, being blessed by luck, being cursed by bad luck, and just this unbelievable journey that so many speedrunners have gone on. I mean, that was a lot of stories of ups and downs from many gamers there tonight, and that was really a heck of a lore. So that's it, my friends. Frigate Agent. A huge thanks to these SpeedLore legends for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. You know, again, the series wouldn't be possible without your support, so thank you very, very, very much. A big thanks to everyone else as well. The chatters, the lurkers, the viewers, all the other Patreon supporters, the co-researchers, Joris, everyone else who suggested some interesting tidbit in the SpeedLore thread, and anyone who has enjoyed any SpeedLore episode ever. Thank you all for making this journey possible. Indeed, we will be back next month with another episode. Until then, stay true, my friends, and I'll see you in the next stream or video.